Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today we are doing another chapter of the Tao Te Ching. We're back at it. We are going to read chapter 39, Wisdom of the Ancients. And what I want you to think about when I'm reading this chapter is humble oneness, humble connection with everything, seeing everything as a cycle, seeing everything as a part of the whole universe, the whole Tao. And we're going to talk about it once I get through it. Here is a picture. Again, stunning as usual. This depicts the jade purity. And so if you're interested in Taoism as a practical everyday religion, I encourage you to check that out. It's not something that I particularly focus on, but don't listen to anybody who tells you that you have to, because it's not a required part of Taoist wisdom. Right, wisdom of the ancients. In ancient times, understanding of the Tao progressed thus. It brought clarity to heaven. It brought stability to earth. It breathed soul into the spirits, brought fertility to the valleys, gave life to all creation, and made rulers models for the world. From this, we can go on to say, without clarity, heaven would crumble. Without stability, earth would crumble. Without soul, the spirits would disappear. Without fertility, the valleys would shrivel. Without creation, without life, creation would be extinguished. And unless they are exalted, rulers would fall. Thus the exalted takes humility as its foundation. The lofty takes the lowly as its base. For this reason, rulers call themselves lowly, humble, and without ambition. For is this not indeed taking humility as their foundation? Thus they know that a multitude of honors do not themselves bring honor. They do not aspire to be elegant, to be the elegance of fine jade, but to the ordinariness of stone. So, apologies for my few missteps, but like I said, humble oneness. This is the idea that everything is a connection with everything else. We are all a part of something. We humans are a part of the food chain, the natural cycle of things. You can take it back to the Lion King, where the king tells the son, one day we will become the grass and we will be eaten by the gazelles, and the circle of life continues. So part of it is a call to leadership and trying to ensure that our leaders feel connected with the people. I think we face this problem quite a bit in today's society, where we don't feel a part of society. Our leaders don't feel as though they are one of us. They feel as though they are better than us or above us in some way. And the wisdom of the ancients is the wisdom to understand that we are all a part of the cycle, and that we have to be humble and have respect for every part of the system. It's not about thinking that you are somehow different or special or unique in the grand cycle or the grand system of the Tao. It is about realizing that you are a integral, humble part of it, that you're not going to take glory or pride from realizing this, and you're just going to fulfill your part in the universe. You're going to fulfill your role. I don't know about you, but I grew up learning about the water cycle in school, and how this cycle sort of perpetuates life on the planet, because everything is based on water. We're carbon-based life forms that require water to survive. Liquid water is incredibly important. It makes up the vast majority of our bodies, and it is 100% essential for every life form on this planet. And this cycle is a continuous self-renewing cycle that feeds through, hydration and water evaporate into the clouds and then condense and fall back down, and that fills our rivers and lakes and glaciers. And the cycle is this unbroken chain that has gone back as far as life has existed on this planet. But the other important part of this oneness is humility, is the idea that we are not somehow better than something else or someone else. When we think about a mountain, the peak of the mountain is not somehow better than the foundation of the mountain. They're both integral parts to what it means to be a mountain. And we don't exonerate or worship one specific integral part. We appreciate the entire thing as its oneness. And so it's about realizing that we are a part of that oneness. We are a integral part of the ecosystem. We're not better than it. We're not above it. We are still animals. This idea that somehow humans are not animals is quite a toxic and a very new idea in society, that somehow we are special. And, depending on your religious beliefs, you might contest that idea. But at the end of the day, it comes down to being a part of the universe, not apart from it, but an integral gear in the system, if you will, to use a technical, a robot term. So essentially, the wisdom of the ancients is about, part of it is a message to our leaders, but another part of it is a message to us, to every single person who is capable of grasping this idea that, we appreciate that we are ordinary like stone, but stone has a lot of uses. Stone has a lot of functions. A lot of animals hide under stones. A lot of, rock and rock formations are integral habitats for all of these different animals and organisms. And so we might not be polished, beautiful jade. And even if we were, there's no reason to exalt it over everything else. So it's a bit of a rejection of materialistic ideas and sort of ego, feeling as though somehow we are superior or better or more holy, more devout, more righteous. And it's just realizing that no, you are a part of the Tao. You fit your role. You fit where you are supposed to fit. And it's not saying that you need to just stay where you are in a stagnant pool. It's not saying that you can't better yourself or you can't learn more or experience more or love more. But it's asking you to realize and be humble in your perspective of the universe and how you fit into it. So that's the wisdom of the ancients. I recommend going back to, I think it's chapter 13, that talks about sort of the avoidance of danger, and it kind of, chapter 13 is kind of the practical way in which you, I'm not going to say detach yourself, but it's the practical way in which you realize your place in the universe and you have a little humility and you don't come into Taoism or these beliefs with this idea that somehow you are better or you're a sage or you're this wise genius. Because even in chapter 39, it talks about how, the ruler needs to be a model for the world. And even if you're the ruler, you need to have this humility. You need to have this relaxed, connected oneness, this understanding. The lofty takes the lowly as its base. For this reason, rulers call themselves lowly, humble, and without ambition. I don't know about you, but I don't know any leaders today that would really call themselves lowly or humble or without ambition. If you follow UK politics, you'll often hear them talking about being a public servant, but then you hear about, you know, the fancy parties they go to, and the pomp and circumstance and ceremony that they speak with, and the elaborate protection and the role of prime minister is very important. And so they talk about being public servants, but they're not. You know, they feel as though they're better. They're these Eton educated elites who separate themselves from the people and haven't been in a grocery store for the past 30 years. And so a true, honest leader is connected with their people, has no differentiation between themselves and the people that they serve, you know? And that's exactly what a leader is supposed to do. They're supposed to serve their population. They're supposed to be the humble servant to the greater society. And our leaders don't do that nowadays. So let this be a lesson to you. Don't be a politician, and feel a oneness and a connection with everything. If you have any questions or thoughts, please let me know. That was 39 of the Tao Te Ching. And as always, we will talk again tomorrow.